Matt Reeves is most famous for his Planet of the Apes prequel trilogy and the found footage film Cloverfield. But it turns out, like most blokes of his generation, he also had a hankering to direct a Batman film of his very own. And of his very own, it most certainly is. Well, perhaps you could say either of Matt Reeves' own or of David Fincher's own, because this movie has some major Fincher vibes. Specifically, when in question of his serial killer thriller Seven. To prove this point, they basically turned the Riddler character into John Doe. Then again, I guess you could flip that and describe serial killer John Doe from Seven as having major Riddler vibes, especially referring to that character's darker iterations. But there is more than the Riddler that makes this movie feel like Fincher. It's also the Batman's overall tone and visual aesthetic. The cast is on point. Paul Dano's Riddler is as over the top as to be expected. Classic Dano, am I right? He really knows how to ride that line between chilling and ridiculous. Fortunately, in a superhero movie, it will only complement the material, regardless of which side of the line you happen to fall over on. Since Dano is Dano, I often caught myself thinking back fondly on stolen milkshakes and gassy corpses. Jeffrey Wright plays a great Commissioner Gordon. It's not too far from roles we've seen him play before, but that can't be blamed on him. He has a specifically quirky style as only a top-notch character actor ought to. Zoe Kravitz is pitch perfect as this version of Catwoman. It's funny how each version of the character has been completely different from one another, as well as perfectly designed to fit each specific actress cast. It is most fortunate, however, that the heart and soul of the character always manages to remain intact. Colin Farrell is unrecognizable as Penguin. It is mostly due to the extreme prosthetic job they did on him, including a very convincing fat suit and faux nose. The funny thing about this particular Penguin is how he comes off like a side character out of a Scorsese gangster flick. This would be absolutely fine, in and of itself, would it not be for the fact that he's the only calzone in the pizza parlor, if you catch my drift. This fact makes him seem like a stereotype, much more than all of those jolly Goodfellas combined. And please beg my pardon if his character was supposed to be Irish or something. Wouldn't that be funny, though? An Irishman playing an Irish character as an Italian? Well, now I kind of hope that's true. And now let's talk about the huge emo bat in the room. Robert Pattinson is obviously no stranger to playing creatures of the night, although it is kind of funny how the vampire character that he played in Twilight actually gets more sun than the human character he played in The Batman. And that guy only wishes he was a bat. His version of Bruce Wayne and the Batman share exactly one note between them. There is no nuance there. Only one lost, obsessed, and socially awkward PTSD survivor with a very expensive and, dare I say it, dangerous hobby. On its surface, this can seem like a bad thing, but when put in context of this particular film, you realize that he works perfectly. Batman is rarely the most interesting part of his films. How can he be with a rogues gallery as long, colorful, and impressive as his? There is a deleted scene floating around on the internet which features an extended appearance of the Joker. I'm not really sure why they took this out. I mean, if you're not ashamed to ape David Fincher's Seven, then why would you be ashamed of aping Michael Mann's Manhunter, huh?